Hello, in this video I'm going to be going into the Anti-Materiel Rifles, the faction-specific ones, and the Archer. I'm going to be going over their stats, and then my opinions of them. And at the end, I'm going to go into how I think they could be changed for the better or for the worse. Who knows? I know. So, just to get the obvious out of the way, I'm not a game dev, so take these opinions with a grain of salt, and I'm also not amazing at the game. These are opinions taken from a few people I know on TR, on NC. I've personally used the Slicer, so I know how struggle it is. It do be a struggle. And also I would like to mention I am a VS main, so there may be a bit of bias towards VS, but you know, that's just me. If y'all have any ideas or corrections that you want to make, just leave them in the comments below. So we're going to be getting into the Archer first, and we'll be getting into the stats in just a moment. So we're starting out with the Archer. It's going to be the one we're going to be basing the stats off of, just because it's easiest to. So the stats, they're not half bad. I'll get into more detail in a bit, but for attachments, it has some basic sights. The key thing to note here is it comes with the 4X and has another 4X it can use. The other anti-material rifles do not have a 4X, so this is going to be the only one that has a not as high-powered scope. It has a straight pole bolt, laser sight, and a dark light flashlight, so pretty simple, pretty easy. Its headshot range from what I was testing on the firing range was about 90 meters, so it's a pretty decent firing range, or headshot range I should say. So that was unshifted. It'll two-shot headshot maxes if I can actually hit the shot, which we know I can't. There we go. But yeah, 90-meter headshot range, two-shot headshot to max. It's really decent. I'll get my thoughts in just a minute. So, with the stats in mind, my general opinion of the Archer is I think it adds a very unique playstyle to the Engineer, where all of the other playstyles, except for the battle rifles, you're going to be up close and personal with a shotgun or a carbine. The Archer lets you be a more supportive Engineer, and just keep in the back, heal your deployables, keep everyone ammoed and maxes alive, while keeping you at a range to where you can still be effective in taking down maxes or just generally taking down high priority targets with the Archer. I think with the ASP shotgun, I believe in secondary slot, it can be turned into a really deadly combination that is just really good. Next, we'll be getting into the NSO Linecutter. I don't know too much about this myself, but I'm just going to be going over the general bits, and yeah. Now we have the Linecutter, which is, it's a weird one. I don't have too much ideas on this one. I haven't heard anything from people about it or against it, so it's probably at least somewhat decent. There it's compared to the Archer, it may just seem better, like a direct upgrade, but not necessarily. Like I said before, it only has access to the high-powered scope, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Has more attachments here in the form of a comfort grip, which is nice, and an extended mag. It also has the haywire ammunition, which makes it different. Basically, it means maxes and deployables just can't be repaired, but increases your rechamber time. In regards to its headshot ratio, it's about 55 meters or so. So it's, it could be better, it could be worse. And it will also two-shot headshot maxes like the regular Archer. And I haven't heard anything for or against it, so I'm gonna assume it's at least in a somewhat decent spot. No one's complaining about it, but no one's also complaining about it, so I mean, we can't, you know. Moving on to the dagger. We're going to go into the dagger next, the TR Anti-Materiel Rifle. Okay, now we have the dagger for TR. It only has access to the high-powered scopes. It starts with the 6x, like all the other faction-specific AMRs. Has a comfort and extended mag like the other ones. However, does not have a unique type of ammo. It just rechambers faster than the regular archer, basically, is its gimmick. Just a faster firing archer. Which, we're not into the bad part yet. It only has a headshot range of 22 meters. That's it. It's bad. It's real bad. It's a struggle. Other than that, has the standard 2-shot headshot for max. So, you know, if I can actually hit my shots, which I cannot today. Most of these will have a 4-shot against the body, so it's a struggle. This one was a 5-shot against the body, sorry. Just because the damage is that low, it's just sad. Cool, so now we have the TR AMR, right? I think the headshot range is just killer for it. I think, while yes, the rechamber time is nice, you have high-powered scopes with a super short 1-shot headshot range. So I think it's just a struggle for that weapon and makes it really weak. Past that, we're going to be going into the masthead next. Now for the masthead. The masthead's scary, man. It's... One second, I'll show you all the stats if I could find the archer real quick. He's different. Very much different. Has a slower muzzle velocity, so that comes into account later. Only has access to the high-powered scopes. Only has a comfort grip. Does not have a laser sight or an extended heavy mag. However, you can get a heavy magazine in the ammo slot, so increases the magazine size by 1, but increases your hip fire. I don't think you want to be hip firing with this anyways, but that's just me. Here's where it gets insane. This thing has a 142 headshot ratio, or range, not ratio. I keep messing that up, whatever. It's insane. It's pain. That's not it though. This thing's 7 shots of scythe, which is not bad until you realize this thing has explosive, like, it's pain. Just, you get like 3 or 4 of these guys and you can just delete air, basically. So, yeah, it needs to be toned down a bit because it has the range and it has the headshot, and it has the flak detonating ammo. It just turns it into an annoyance, to be honest. I'm just gonna double check this. That max was not full health. I hope. God, I hope. Yeah, 2-shot, so like normal. Moving ever onwards. With the masthead, it's really brutal. It has a super long headshot range, and it also does air damage, which it just makes it so powerful. Even without the 4x scope like the archer has, just that headshot range and that air capability, it makes it a must-have for the NC, which we'll get into that a bit later into the video. Lastly, we're gonna have the Slicer. The Slicer is something else, and I'll be getting into it in just a minute. On to the Slicer. This one just makes me even more sad than the last one, to be honest. So, has different stats. It's different. It's just different. High-powered scopes. Has the comfort grip and the laser sight. Does not have the extended heavy mag. In the ammo slot has the wave accelerator, increases hip fire cone, but increases your projectile velocity, which is different. Now the thing the Slicer does is it keeps going through infantry targets, so you know, it keeps going through if your target still hits a wall or hits a tank. It has a headshot range of around, I think it's 38 meters or so. I may be wrong on that one though. I need to double check.
Hostile max identified.
Wow. 10 out of 10, guys. This is going to be great. Anyways, I'll continue talking about it in the meantime. It also has a charge up, which y'all may have noticed. It has a headshot range of 37 meters, my bad. But it also has a charge up, which makes tracking targets really, really bad, in my opinion. I have some spicy opinions on how to fix this one in a minute, but we'll get to that later. So the Slicer, I have personally used this one, so this is like my personal opinion on this one. It sucks. Its charge up is a pain to use. Its headshot range is not great. So I think it needs to be changed and buffed a bit, or just changed outright. Well, and we'll be getting to that in just a second. So, now, lastly, we have how I think they can change. For the better, for the worse, who knows. We'll start with the Linecutter. The Linecutter, I don't think needs changes. I think it's in a decent spot right now with its Havoc rounds. I forgot what specifically they're called. But the Havoc rounds, I think it leads to a decent, decent balance. As for the dagger, actually we'll go with the Masthead because I have interesting plans for the dagger. For the Masthead, I think here's my issue with the Masthead. You have anti-air and a good infantry killing weapon. With most other sources of anti-air, you're trading something for anti-air, whether it be damage, where you could pick a Desi instead of a G to A, or nanites, whatever. With the Masthead, you're trading nothing. It is basically a direct upgrade to the Archer, except for the fact it can't have a 4X. But I think it needs to at least either remove or not remove, either nerf one or the other, the infantry killing potential or the AA. Maybe both, I'm not sure, but one of those needs to go. It either needs to be way less powerful against infantry or way less powerful against air. Yeah. So for the dagger, what if we made it semi-auto instead? Take away the one-shot headshot range, just entirely, but make it to where it's semi-auto. And I think that might be a decent change for it, because as it is with the bolt, unless you pull a straight pull bolt, you're having to unscope every single time on a high magnitude scope with a really short headshot range. It just makes it really unfun to use. Credit to someone who commented this. I will put it up on screen if I can find it. So, select tutor. It's this person who said, recommended the semi-auto for the dagger. So I just wanted to add this in. So, sorry about the interruption. But, yeah. I think making it semi-auto is a really good idea. Or at least it's a somewhat good idea. Lastly, we have the Slicer. So the Slicer, there's two ways they could go with it. They could either change it to where they remove the charge up because it's really hurting the weapon, or change how it functions as a weapon necessarily. Make it to where it doesn't have a headshot, one-shot headshot kill, but make the projectile really big, like an unstable round, or wide, and make it to where it's like just a hallway clear, where you just shoot the thing down the hallway and you're not necessarily gonna kill people with it, but you could do a lot of damage. I think it's a really dumb idea, but it would be really neat to see, but that's just me, VS main. I've used that weapon, so I know how much it's not in a good place right now. I would rather use regular archer or any of the other ones, except for maybe the dagger over the slicer. Actually, I'd rather use the dagger over the slicer. It's just that bad. So, with all that in mind, what do you think? Do you think these are good changes, bad changes? I, don't know what I'm talking about. Leave it all in the comments below. And have a great day. Oop.